Hannibal Johnson, author, attorney, and consultant.
Clifton Taulbert, entrepreneur, author.
Phil Armstrong, project director for the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre Centennial Commission.
Well, I think when we ask a question about animosity and poor race relations here in Tulsa, it's important to understand that Tulsa is a part of Oklahoma, which is a part of the United States. So we have to look at what is the national context for race relations in America at the time of the massacre in Tulsa in 1921. Well, the national context, unfortunately, is not pretty. Sociologists and historians call it the nadir of race relations in America. Of course, nadir is kind of a big word that means low point. So it's a low point of race relations in America because there are these so-called race riots all throughout the United States. These are largely assaults on black communities. And there is lynching, which is domestic terrorism aimed primarily at African Americans. That's what's happening in America in the run-up to what happened here in 1921. In fact, let's look at 1919. Red Summer.
Red Summer.
Red is a metaphorical reference to blood, black blood, flowing in the streets of cities like New York and Philadelphia, DC, Chicago, all over.
Yeah.
So that's the context in which the violence in Tulsa occurs. And in Tulsa we have, and in Oklahoma we have, the growth and development of the Klan, the leading domestic terrorist organization. We have a phenomenon that I call land lust, which means the black community occupied a parcel of land. A lot of people in the Tulsa community who were wealthy because of the railroad or because of their industrial interests, they wanted that land. So they wanted to get those black people off that land so they could take that land for what they believed to be higher and better purposes. So all that creates racial animosity coupled with just something as simple as jealousy.
Well, one other thing too, 1907 was a major legislative change in our country, and in Oklahoma in particular, Guantanamo State, because Jim Crow existed because that was part of what America was at the time,
right.
But it wasn't as prominent in the territory as it was in my home state of Mississippi. That's why Mississippians could say, I want to go there,
right.
Because there is going to be better than where I am.
Yeah.
But 1907, sort of set in concrete to some extent the Jim Crow laws, which goes back to Hannibal's point, that created legal segregation as a systemic way of living your life that had not happened before that. So that made room for those other types of negative feelings that one would have toward another, or no feelings at all. And I think that is a great issue because they were literally ignored as far as success. We existed over here, we, they, but at the same time, not from the standpoint of really knowing who these people were, what they had accomplished, because it was immaterial to them.
And the other point that adds to just what Hannah was addressing in terms of land lust, the animosity, really showed itself in the days after the massacre, when you got postcards going out all over the country that show the smoke and the burning of the buildings, and on the postcard that's quite readily available, it says, "Running the Negro out of Tulsa." So they almost was proud of the fact, some, not all, but some were proud of the fact that, hey, we did this. Kind of was almost like a badge of honor.
Yeah. Just a little, I think of Reconstruction and how things for 10 years were working fairly well. We would have accomplished some things that perhaps others thought would not have been possible, but they were. But once those backroom decisions were made and the federal troops were removed from the southern states, that created another mindset of undermining our ability to be successful. And because every success that a black person made, it invalidated the lie of inferiority. And everything had been built upon inferiority based not upon your presence, but simply upon the color of your skin. That was it.